You know how we've been tracking the whole story around weight loss drugs, especially Wegovy, and, well, how hard it's actually been for people to get their hands on it.
Oh, yeah, it's been a constant topic. Access has been the big bottleneck.
Exactly. Well, strap in because today feels like a pretty significant plot twist in that story.
It really does. Things seem to be shifting
Yeah.
and pretty quickly.
Yeah. So today we're diving deep into a major development. Novo Nordisk, they've got this brand new strategy really for getting Wegovy out there. It's all about telehealth. We've
Hmm.
got the details right from a CNBC piece that literally just dropped today, April 29th, 2025.
Fresh off the press.
Right. And our mission, is to really unpack this. Why now? Why is Novo Nordisk doing this now? What's it actually mean for you if you're trying to get Wegovy? And, what are the bigger ripple effects?
Okay, let's get into it.
So what's the headline news here, the big reveal?
So the core thing is that Novo Nordisk has officially partnered up with telehealth providers. The big names mentioned are Hims and Hers Health, Ro, and LifeMD. They're going to offer Wegovy through these platforms.
Okay, so not just rumors. This is official as of today.
Correct. The CNBC report puts it plainly.
Mm.
Novo Nordisk on Tuesday said it will offer its weight loss drug Wegovy through telehealth providers Hims and Hers Health, Ro, and LifeMD to expand access to the blockbuster treatment now that it is no longer in short supply in the U.S.
Ah, okay. So that's key, too. It's not in short supply anymore. That alone is big news.
It is. It sets the stage for this next move.
But this specific pivot to telehealth now, it feels very deliberate, doesn't it? There must be more to the timing.
Oh, absolutely. If you look at the context, a huge piece of this puzzle is the clampdown on compounding pharmacies.
Right. The ones making those cheaper, unapproved versions of semaglutide when you couldn't find Wegovy anywhere.
Exactly. Those became a massive alternative. The article even says patients flocked to those compounded versions while Wegovy was in shortage due to skyrocketing demand.
Okay, so people went there out of necessity, mostly.
Largely, yes. But the legal and regulatory environment for those pharmacies is getting much, much tighter.
So Novo Nordisk sees this as a window then, a chance to pull those patients back to the official stuff.
That seems to be exactly the strategy. It's pretty clear. Dave Moore, who heads up U.S. operations for Novo Nordisk, he told CNBC, and this is a direct quote, "We felt it was really important to work hard to establish a collaboration with telehealth companies so that there could be access to Wegovy as the compounding is winding down."
Wow, okay, so they're explicitly linking it to the compounding wind down.
Very explicitly, it's about providing that pathway as the other one closes.
Okay, just quickly, for anyone maybe not totally clear what exactly are compounding pharmacies allowed to do, how did they even start making Wegovy alternatives? What was the basis for that?
Well, compounding pharmacies are specialist pharmacies. They can create custom medications. Traditionally, they can make a version of a drug like Wegovy if the FDA declared an official shortage, which we know happened.
Right, that was the big one.
Or, alternatively, if a specific patient needs a custom version, maybe they're allergic to an ingredient in the commercial one, or need a unique dose. That's the individualized medical need angle.
But this seemed much bigger than just individual cases, didn't it? The scale of it. And there was pushback.
Oh, definitely, because these compounded versions aren't FDA approved like Wegovy is. You had the drug makers, health experts, raising red flags about, safety, consistency, whether they actually work the same, especially making them in bulk.
And now the rules are catching up.
Seems so. The article mentions key deadlines. May 22nd is a big one for larger compounders. They have to stop marketing and selling bulk compounded semaglutide. Smaller ones had an earlier deadline in April for individual prescriptions. So, yeah, that whole avenue is really narrowing.
Okay, that context makes this telehealth push make a whole lot more sense timing-wise. Now, the article also mentioned Novo Nordisk starting its own online pharmacy, NovoCare. How does that fit in?
Yeah, NovoCare, that's actually a really crucial piece here. It's like the back-end fulfillment center for this whole telehealth strategy.
Okay, so how does it work?
So patients will connect with a doctor through Hims and Hers or Ro or LifeMD, right? Get the consultation, the prescription, and then those platforms will directly link the patient to NovoCare to actually get the medication.
I see.
The article says patients will be able to access Novo Nordisk's new direct-to-consumer online pharmacy, NovoCare, directly through the telehealth providers.
So the telehealth part is like the front door, the consultation, and NovoCare is where you actually place the order and get it shipped from.
Essentially, yes. It seems designed to be pretty integrated.
Okay, integrated, maybe seamless, but what about the bit everyone cares about? The cost. How much is this going to set people back?
Right, the big question. So NovoCare itself is listing Wegovy at a cash price. This is key. For people without insurance covering it, of $499 a month.
$499. Okay. And the article notes that's, what, roughly half the list price?
Yeah, roughly half its usual monthly list price. That's how CNBC puts it, which sounds good.
It does sound good. But is there a catch? You mentioned going through the telehealth providers.
There is a potential catch, or at least something to be aware of. The price you actually pay through Hims and Hers or Ro might be higher than that $499.
Oh, why is that? Are they adding a markup?
It's more about bundled services. A Novo Nordisk spokesperson told CNBC that, quote, each telehealth company's price may be higher because they likely include additional services.
Ah, okay. So you're paying for the convenience, the doctor consult, maybe coaching or support platforms all rolled in.
That seems to be the model. You're not just buying a drug, you're buying a service package that includes the drug.
Makes sense. Okay, so let's break that down then. What are the specifics? What are Hims and Hers and Ro actually offering, and what are their prices looking like initially?
Okay, so starting with Hims and Hers, they've said they'll offer all the different dose sizes of Wegovy. Their starting price, again for cash-paying patients who qualify, is $599 a month.
$599. So $100 more than the base NovoCare price. What do you get for that extra 100?
According to the report, that $599 includes 247 access to care, nutritional guidance, and ongoing clinical support. So they're definitely positioning it as a more comprehensive package.
Right. They're selling the support system along with the medication. Their CEO, Andrew Dudum, is quoted basically saying that extra access justifies the higher price point. It's more than just the script.
That's the argument, yes. Now, Ro is taking a slightly different approach, it seems.
Okay. How so?
They'll also offer all the Wegovy doses, but their listed price is $499 per month.
Matching NovoCare's price.
Exactly, matching the base cash price.
It's okay. That sounds more straightforward, maybe. But what about those extra services, the coaching, the support? Does Ro just not offer them?
No, they do offer them, but it's structured differently. It's through their body program membership. This membership gives you things like 24/7 messaging, coaching, educational materials. But it's a separate cost from the medication itself.
Ah, so it's unbundled. You pay $499 for the Wegovy, and if you want the extra support, you pay an additional membership fee for the body program.
That appears to be the setup. So you could potentially just get the medication for $499 via Ro, similar to NovoCare's price, but without the built-in support layers unless you opt into their separate program.
Interesting. Ro's CEO, Zach Raitano, seemed to emphasize that point, right? Getting access to the FDA-approved drug at the best cash price, especially for uninsured folks.
Yes, that was his focus in the quote provided, making the actual medication accessible from a cost perspective first and foremost.
So it looks like people have choices now, which is good. Different price points, different levels of included support. You really have to weigh what you need and what you want to pay for.
Absolutely. It comes down to individual priorities and budget.
And Novo Nordisk, they're clearly making a play for those people coming off the compounded stuff we talked about. How are they talking about that transition?
Dave Moore from Novo sounded pretty positive about it. He said, we're really pleased about the level of interest to access branded Wegovy and to start to sort of catch people as they come off of compounded medicine.
Sort of catch people. Interesting phrasing.
Yeah. He also stressed they want it to be a seamless experience. You know, do the telehealth visit, then boom, the medicine shows up at your door.
That direct shipping, the convenience factor, that's huge for people. I can see the appeal.
Definitely a major selling point in today's world.
It's also fascinating how the market reacted. The article mentions stock prices. What happened there?
Yeah, the market definitely took notice. Hims and Hers stock jumped significantly 18% after the news broke.
Wow, 18%.
Yeah, and Novo Nordisk's own stock went up about 3%. So investors clearly see this telehealth strategy as a potentially very positive move for both companies. It signals confidence in the approach.
Interesting. Now, there was a little side note in there, too, about Hims and Hers offering other weight loss drugs like Zepbound and Mounjaro. But there's a key difference compared to this Wegovy deal, right?
A very important distinction, yes. While Hims and Hers does offer access to those Eli Lilly drugs, Lilly itself came out and explicitly stated they have no affiliation with Hims and Hers.
Low affiliation.
Right. So Lilly isn't partnering with them in the same direct way. Novo Nordisk is now partnering with Hims and Hers, Ro, and LifeMD for Wegovy. This Novo deal is an official strategic collaboration.
That really underlines the significance of this specific Novo Nordisk announcement, doesn't it? It's not just a platform offering access, it's a formal partnership.
Precisely. It's a different level of engagement between the pharma company and the telehealth provider.
And just circling back quickly to Hims and Hers, they actually did offer compounded semaglutide before, didn't they?
Yes, they did. They started back in May 2024, according to the article. But as we discussed, with the regulations tightening up, they've largely had to stop offering those wide-scale compounded versions.
So they're pivoting along with the market.
Seems like it. Their CEO, Dudum, was quoted acknowledging the regulations are clear now, but also saying they'll always fight on behalf of what consumers we believe have the right to get. Maybe hinting some highly personalized compounding might still fit specific rules, but the broad offering is gone.
Okay, so as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, let's crystallize the main points.
Yeah.
What are the big takeaways for someone listening right now?
I think there are three main things. One, access to branded Wegovy is definitely expanding, and it's happening through these convenient telehealth channels.
Okay, more access points.
Two, the timing is clearly strategic. It's directly linked to the crackdown on compounding pharmacies, creating an opportunity Novo Nordisk is seizing.
Right, filling the gap.
Three, you now have varied pricing options emerging. Some bundle the drug with support services at a higher price. Others offer the drug at a base price with optional add-on services. So more choice, but also more complexity for the consumer to navigate. Yeah, you need to compare carefully. So basically, Novo Nordisk is making a really strong strategic push using telehealth to solidify its position, especially as that compounded market changes. It feels like a pretty bold move into a new distribution era.
It really does. And, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Thinking beyond Wegovy, how might this kind of direct partnership model between big pharma and telehealth evolve for other drugs, other conditions?
That's a great point.
What could this mean for how we all access prescriptions down the line? Is this the future telehealth as a primary channel, maybe even bypassing traditional pharmacies in some cases for certain meds? What does it mean for cost and accessibility overall?
Definitely something to mull over. Is this a one-off for a unique market situation or the start of a much bigger trend in healthcare delivery?
Exactly. Lots to watch.
And in the meantime, if you are looking at Wegovy, it's clearer than ever that you need to really look closely at what each of these telehealth providers offers, the total cost, the services included, the level of support, to see what actually makes sense for your own health situation and your budget. Thanks for breaking all that down with me.
Happy to. It's a fast-moving space, that's for sure.